So, what's next in the showdown between the United States and Iran? David Martin is watching developments from the Pentagon, while Seth Doane is following the story from Israel. We begin with David Martin.
Seismic shocks set off by the drone strike which killed Soleimani rippled across the U.S. as thousands of paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne boarded planes for the Middle East. The Department of Homeland Security warned of possible Iranian cyber attacks, and the mayor of New York stepped up security.
We are now potentially facing a threat that's different and greater than anything we have faced previously.
The troops are going to Kuwait, where they will be ready to reinforce U.S. embassies and other locations where Americans are based. General Frank McKenzie, the commander of U.S. forces in the Middle East, has told the Pentagon he intends to hit back if any of the 5,000 American troops in Iraq are attacked by Iranian-backed militias. Until last week, U.S. forces had not retaliated for fear of antagonizing the Iraqi government. But as Defense Secretary Mark Esper told reporters off camera, the confrontation with Iran and its militias has reached a new level.
The game has changed, and we're prepared to do what is necessary to defend our personnel and our interests and our partners in the region.
The game changed dramatically when 2 American drones struck the convoy carrying Soleimani after he had landed at the Baghdad airport. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says Soleimani was hit because he was planning to kill Americans.
The American people can know that the decision that President Trump made to take Qassem Soleimani down saved American lives.
Iranian officials have called the killing of Soleimani an act of war and vowed revenge. Yesterday evening, President Trump upped the ante with an extraordinary tweet warning that if Iran strikes Americans or American assets, we have targeted 52 Iranian sites. That's one for each of the hostages taken when a mob overran the U.S. Embassy in Tehran nearly 40 years ago. He then concluded the tweet in all caps saying, Iran will be hit very fast and very hard.
David, are there signs Iran is preparing to strike?
A U.S. defense official told me just a short time ago that Iran has brought its ballistic missiles to a higher state of readiness. He told me, and I want to quote this, it is unclear whether Iranian military movements are intended to better prepare to defend themselves or to be better prepared to execute strikes. When I said that sounds like we're on a razor's edge, he said yes.
David Martin at the Pentagon, we thank you. We've asked our Seth Doane to tell us more about Qassem Soleimani and help us understand his significance to Iraqis. He reports from Israel.
Major General Qassem Soleimani was an architect of Iran's influence across the Middle East, creating a Shiite Muslim stronghold in several countries, including Hezbollah in Lebanon, where one commander warned 35 U.S. targets and Tel Aviv are within Iran's reach. Chants of death to the U.S. have been a common refrain among protesters in Iran since the 1979 hostage crisis, and Soleimani has been seen as a fierce nationalist fighting for Iran, reaching cult-like status.
He's a hero in Iran. He's adored. There are posters of him everywhere. Everybody knows who he is.
Dexter Filkins, a staff writer at The New Yorker, penned a profile on Soleimani and likened Iran's Quds Force, which Soleimani led, to a sort of CIA meets Special Forces.
He's one of the most powerful men in the country. He's very close to the Supreme Leader. It'd be like killing, the Vice President or a Supreme Court Justice. I mean, it's huge.
Soleimani is credited with employing so-called asymmetrical warfare tactics, using proxy forces to fight for Iran, including against Israel.
How close of an eye did you keep on Soleimani?
Very close.
Amos Yadlin is a former chief of Israeli military intelligence.
You could see him in any place that Iran tried to change the regime or to have a terror attack. You could see him in Lebanon with Hezbollah, in Syria fighting for Assad, in Iraq killing American soldiers, and in Yemen firing rockets to Saudi Arabia.
Yadlin told us he thinks Iran is considering 3 options for retaliation: a strike on the United States, which is risky, on an American ally like Saudi Arabia or United Arab Emirates, or Israel. But ultimately, he thinks Iran does not want all-out war, though many in the region feel we are now closer to one.